Hello and welcome to another episode of Tommy's Trains. I've got quite a few of these MPC sets that we're going through, and I appreciate all of you who have been joining me with this little journey, taking a look at these old trains from the 70s. So today I've got a Lionel YardMaster set, and this is another basic set. This is one of those ones that they said had play value. I've got the box in this one. The top of this box has been completely encased in packing tape, so it feels pretty slick, but regardless, it's still intact. So, although albeit a little tight to get off. So here we've got a YardMaster set, and this is a DT&I diesel switcher. It's got the headlights and the marker lights, which are these little green things here. We've got a General Mills Minimax car with palatainers, which I don't think is in here. Republic steel gondola with canisters, Penn Central log dump car with logs, DT&I work caboose, manual uncoupler, Trainmaster, transformer, the lock-on, wire, and owner's manual. This is the actual size of the locomotive here. So the box, that's in pretty good shape considering. And these are made by General Mills, MPC. A little bit of writing on it. Like I said, it's covered in tape. Pull-more motor. Easy fit tracks, fingertip uncoupling and manual uncoupler, fast angle wheels, needlepoint bearings, Trainmaster, safety transformer, super detailing, and an oval track set. So the first thing we see is the owner's manual, which I'm always amazed whenever I open something up that's 50 years old that still has the owner's manual. And you can see it's been X'd out, so whoever got this went through and said, well, that's not my set. So they crossed off all the pieces of this manual that don't apply to their set. The tracks in here, it's pretty typical of what I would expect for 50-year-old Lionel track. The top is clean, so it's been maintained, and pretty typically the sides are tarnished, but the main point is that these tracks have been cleaned, so they're in pretty good shape. Looks like somebody bought extra track for this. I don't think it came with the uncoupling track. I don't see the remote uncoupling track here, so I think this was one of those ones that you had to use the Manumatic or just push it over manually to dump it. We've got all the curved tracks here, and I don't see the Manumatic in this box. Here's our log dump, 2 canisters, DT&I YardMaster set. I don't believe these barrels came with this set. I think these were from something else, maybe an add-on. They'll definitely work on the barrel car. This looks like the button to activate the dump set. Oh, we do have the palatainers. They're in the bottom. Looks like a little forklift pallet, got little cubes on it, and those go inside the box car. This was a new car at General Mills came out with for this set. It's only got 4 wheels on it and spring-loaded couplers. This one's broken. On the end of it, right here, this is a plastic piece that goes in behind the coupler, so it bows in and out as this turns, whereas this side, it's just missing altogether. This little plastic piece is gone, so it doesn't spring back. But the car does look like it's in very good shape. The way this worked was these sides pop up like this, so you would load the palatainers in there. There's ribs on the floor that match up with the parts of the bottom of the pallet, so it kind of stays put. Oh, here's our operating track. Okay, so it's not missing. We have the operating track here. It goes with this, which goes with our dump car. So the way this would work is when you push the button, it energizes this little button here, and it pulls down this plunger to dump the load. So we do have a complete set of track. Penn Central, dump car, metal wheels, pretty good shape. Couplers on one end work, not the other, which is typical. We still have 2 logs. Whether it came with 2 or 3, I don't know. There's 2. Ever-present Republic steel. This one's interesting because it is green and not blue. So it almost confuses you with a Burlington car. And this was built 171. Also has metal wheels on it, and this has like black trim on it. And whether or not this came like this or somebody added it, I do not know. But if they did paint it on, they did a good job. But I've never seen a Republic steel in green, especially with the trim all painted on it. So kind of a neat car. Same as usual with only one operating coupler, but it's got the half moon coupler that you would need the Manumatic for. So it's interesting that they gave you this right here, which would actually uncouple the cars, but they don't have the correct part on the car for this to work. You'd have to either push the tab down or use the Manumatic uncoupler. So pretty heavy car actually. Here's our flat car, DT&I, all plastic wheels on it. Couplers on both ends. Obviously only one works. This is the work caboose. There's no tabs on this anywhere to lock this in, so there's nothing on here to hold these in place. There's 3 little tabs left on this side. The ones on this side are all broken. I can see where there would have been 4 on each side, but there's only 3 left. So probably the same was true with this. I think there was probably 3 on each side by what I'm looking at. It also looks like somebody probably took some paint or a Sharpie or something and painted all the trim on this one, and it did a pretty decent job with it. So you can see that's all outlined. The ladder's outlined. It's one of the first things I've noticed, and they did a good job with the outlining on it. But anyway, the caboose is not gonna stay on. This part kind of will. What's interesting about this box is there's a whole bunch of like little blue dots on it, and whether it's mold or the box came this way, I could not tell you that either. Here's our DT&I locomotive. It's a pretty heavy locomotive. Got a lot of flop going on back here with this truck. You can see it's kind of dangling. It's only 4-wheel drive. We only have one set of drive wheels here. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Looks like somebody did touch up the ladders on the sides. Some of the stuff on the engine cowling the hood looks touched up. It's got some moderate runtime on it that still has the traction tires, and it's all pretty much intact. Handrails are metal, a little bit bent, but not too bad. The jewels are still intact. This uncoupling track is really reminiscent of post-war track. It doesn't look anything like what you would expect from this period. Usually the newer stuff basically looks like this with a dot in it. All right, so the locomotive here, about 26 ounces, so pound and a half. Public steel, 5.3. Penn Central dump car. Somebody's touched up all the rails on this too. You can see that the girders have been touched up underneath too. So I would say somebody painted this and did a pretty decent job. 5.2 ounces. Work caboose, 4 ounces. This is our transformer. Minimax car, 6 ounces. So these diesel engines, these switchers, not too much involved with servicing them. So the first thing I'll do is take the burnisher and clean up these pickups. These rollers here, you just advance them forward or backward and just hit them with that little burnishing pen. And we'll do the wheels the same way. So we do have some gunk down in here, and the grease that they used originally on these tends to like harden up over time. So it's really behoove of you, if you've got one of these, it hasn't been run in a long time, to get in there and clean all the gunk out of it. So this rail zip is track cleaner and corrosion inhibitor. And what we're going to do is clean these contacts. You can already see they're getting black. The Q-tip's getting black, just cleaning that junk off. You really want to clean these old trains if you've picked one up at a yard sale or something before you use it. That's especially true if you've got something with like sound of steam, because those circuit boards tend to separate off from what the original foam tape was that held them on, and then you run into problems with it frying. And then obviously they don't make them anymore. So, but there's this white grease down in there, and you want to get all that out. So even the dead wheels, you want to clean those too. Otherwise, you're just going to go back and put crap on the tracks, and we don't want to do that. The gear lubricant. So the oil is the lighter stuff. The gear lubricant's a little heavier. So we're going to put the gear lubricant in the gear a little bit, just a little bit in there. What's going to happen is that as that train runs, it'll work itself in there. So the light oil on this, we're going to go in the coupler. There's a rivet in there that this coupler holds to, and there's no spring on this. There probably was a spring at one time that kept it centered, but now there is not, so automatic coupling is not going to happen. The coupler on this is metal though, and we put just a little bit inside the bearings, not too much, otherwise they'll get all over the wheels again, and then you'll have to get it off. A little bit goes in here, and then the same on this side. This one does have a spring inside the coupling box, so it's a little bit different. It's getting tired. There's a little E-ring on there, E-clip. It does still center, but not well. Like I said, this whole back truck is really floppy. So I can lock it in forward or reverse. It doesn't matter if you've got a 1971 version or a 1990s version, they're still essentially the same. I mean, you can see the brake wheel's a little different. Essentially the same locomotive still, and they still open the same way. So for this to open, there's one Phillips screw in the front. I'll take that out. And you can see this engine here does not have a speaker in it, so there's no train horn. This DT&I locomotive, you look on the top of it, this is your manual forward and reverse lever, which is going to stick through the top right here. And what that does is it changes polarity of this electric motor, which will change direction. And it's still really good and tight, so that's a good thing. Now this light bulb in here is unlike any of the other light bulbs in any of my other locomotives. So I'll put the part number up here for you. It's an interesting light bulb. And like I said, I don't have these in any other locomotive. It's a globe with 2 prongs and then like a center prong. You have to be very, very careful when you put this in so you don't shatter it. This new bulb is just enough different than the original where it sticks up, so I had to bend the prongs and then bend the front mount, but make sure it still clears the front truck, and then you can put the shell back on. Otherwise, the size of that globe will hit the top of the hood and you won't be able to get the screw in down here. So the dump car works. It's also important to note that none of the couplers on this train set will work with the electric uncoupler. Your ET&I set, the box is about 30 inches long, 12 inches wide, and you can see the artwork on coast scene with some cement and dumping the logs off to the side, which is interesting, I guess. Here's your Minimax car, all new pull-more motor, greatest pulling power ever, reverse, neutral, forward.